5 has become just that little bit more pathetic because Capcom have taken the quick, easy, dirty route for its microtransaction justification. Yep, microtransactions are in Devil May Cry 5 and you can pay to upgrade your characters. You all remember Devil May Cry as a series, don't you? It's one of the more quote-unquote hardcore games out there, rewarding a certain level of skill. So of course it makes perfect sense to toss that out of the window and let you fast-track it for cash. And Capcom's wasted no time crawling and slithering behind the industry's standby popularity.
There have been many instances in which games with microtransactions adjusted parameters such as currency costs for certain things last minute right before launch. Keep in mind that what media outlets have played is an incomplete demo build of the game, so costs may not be final, and there might be other forms of in-game purchases that haven't been disclosed yet. We also don't know whether there are aspects of the game that have been purposely throttled to strong-arm players into making in-game.
Now, it remains to be seen if this actually does play a big role in the gameplay of Devil May Cry 5. If the game is affected by this, if it is another Shadow of War where progression is tied to in-game purchases, then yes, I will gladly boycott Devil May Cry 5. And I will sit here on camera and admit that I was wrong, I should have listened to y'all. But as it stands, if it's going to be handled the same way as Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition, this isn't a big deal.
Man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Does it feel good to be right? Ladies and gentlemen, we are currently on the eve of the eve for Devil May Cry 5's international launch. I just can't believe it. This time a year ago, we had no idea that a new installment in the Devil May Cry franchise was a thing. After the failure that was DMC 2013, I for one thought that the franchise was dead and buried. But lo and behold, E3 2018 rolls around, we get an announcement for Devil May Cry 5, and that it's coming out within less than a year. So excitement is at an all-time high. I for one am very much so looking forward to the game, even though I won't be able to play it until early next week. Life obligations, what you gonna do? But I wanted to take the time out to really just be petty one last time. Now you guys might recall a few months back, I made a video talking about the inclusion of microtransactions in DMC5. And it was sort of a counter-argument to the YouTube outrage culture. I'm sorry, the YouTube commentator community. Everybody was up in arms that a single-player focused hack-and-slash game was getting paid optional transactions. And I'm not going to regurgitate what I said in the video. I pretty much think that the intro for this video pretty much sums it up. But here we are. Devil May Cry 5 reviews are out in the wild. People are talking about their experiences in the game. And one thing in particular, amongst all the glowing reviews of high 8s, 9s, and sometimes even perfect scores of 10, we have all these people, the very same people, the very same commentators who were making multiple videos getting thousands upon thousands of views, raking in all the revenue, dissing Devil May Cry 5, Capcom, and how this was intrusive. Think of the children. How in the world are we going to move forward as an industry if we have these microtransactions? All of those same people who are saying that Devil May Cry 5 having microtransactions would set a bad precedent for the franchise. They said that this game would be ruined, despite them not even playing the game or knowing how these microtransactions would be handled, despite the previous game in the series, Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition, having these very same microtransactions, if you can even call it that. We'll get back onto that point later. Despite all this, we've had to hear them talk for months in and out about how the game is dead on arrival, it's going to be another Shadow of War, and what happens? The game is not another Shadow of War. The game is just like Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition, if not even better. You can play through the entire game without having to even worry about thinking of these microtransactions. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but weren't these people saying that the mere inclusion of optional paid purchases in a single-player focused game, wouldn't that kill it and make the game a grind fest? Now we have some of these same people saying that Devil May Cry 5 is smoking, stylish, sexy, and above all else, fun. And this is just me being Commander Petty to the highest degree. Some of these same people who are hyping up Devil May Cry 5, weren't you the same sorry people damage controlling for the reboot? Y'all were saying that Dante is just too goofy of a character to be taken seriously. We need to see him in a more contemporary setting. Yeah, y'all over here hyping up how Dante is doing all this crazy stuff. I could have sworn. Okay, well that's just me being petty. That's just me being petty. What can I say? It feels so good to be right. Like I told you guys many months ago, microtransactions inherently aren't a bad thing. Should they have been included in the Devil May Cry franchise? No, but since they're there, we have to take them for what they are and judge them on their own merits. You can play through the entire Devil May Cry 5 experience without even having to worry about a single optional in-game purchase. But speaking of these optional in-game purchases and how they are handled, shout out to my homie Josh, because he brought this up earlier. Are they really microtransactions if you are only able to purchase them once? Think about that for a second. Everybody is talking about how Devil May Cry 5 is potentially nickel and diming you, the consumer. But when you can purchase these optional items only one particular time, how is Capcom going to get you to keep spending more and more money in this game? How? I thought the point of microtransactions were to prey on you, the consumer. Oh, it's just a couple cents here and there, maybe shell out a couple of dollars to get this orb pack. But Devil May Cry 5 comes around and it gives you more orbs just for playing the game. If Capcom really were that egregious, wouldn't they offer multiple packs where you could keep rebuying them? You can call it the Game Journalist DLC pack, to be honest, because that's what it sounds like. People who don't want to invest the time to learn the game, and it's so funny how we have to say you need to learn Devil May Cry 5 to get good at it. Like Devil May Cry 5 is a fighting game or something. No. All you have to do is just play the game. And I don't even want to hear anybody coming into this comment section talking about Devil May Cry 5 microtransactions, the combat, if you cannot hear the freaking music in the game. If you can't hear anything, if that chorus don't kick in, you have no business being in this comment section. And one last point to close off the video. For all of you Jan Gays and Jim Sterlings who are talking about the microtransactions in the games, all of you guys who will be raking in tons of money criticizing the game for its inclusion, I sure do hope you guys are eating that big old piece of humble pie as you rake in even more money, talking about how amazing Devil May Cry 5 is, and how fun the game is, and how you're just gonna sit there and begrudgingly say that, well, you know, the microtransactions are intrusive, but they still should have been in there in the first. Talk that talk, talk that talk. Moonwalk like Dante, man. Moonwalk like Dante. That's all I gotta say for today, ladies and gentlemen. People are just gonna talk that talk. They're gonna keep complaining. And then they're gonna wonder why their credibility goes down the drain. Anyway, from me to you for now, my name is NGS signing out. Before I go, comment down below your favorite scene from the Devil May Cry franchise. Devil May Cry 1, Devil May Cry 2, 3, 4, and heck, even some of the stuff that you've seen in 5 that could potentially be a banger. Comment down below, let me know. And from me to you for now, my name is NGS signing out. And like always, I will catch you guys later. Peace.
Oh, is that right? Well, I sure hope somebody picks up that phone. Because I f***ing called it!
Guess what? You didn't